The next thing on our agenda is Historical Spotlight, Bob Jacobson, Friends of Pioneer Cemeteries, and that will be handled by Trustee Gieser.
Thank you very much. It is the 200th anniversary of the bicentennial of the state of Illinois, and in honor of that, we have been having people come to our meetings monthly to tell us a little bit about our community, our region, and our county. And today, we're honored to have a gentleman, Bob Jacobson, who is involved with an organization called Friends of Pioneer Cemeteries. It's involved with Milton Township, and there are 3 pioneer cemeteries within Milton Township, including one in Carroll Stream, the St. Stephen Cemetery. And Mr. Jacobson will tell us a little bit about that area, the cemetery, the neighborhood that was named Gretna, and a little bit more. I think there's going to be some information that many of us who have lived here a long time may not even be aware of. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Jacobson.
I don't know. Whoops. I'm a little tall. I feel right at home here in Carroll Stream. I have to admit I live in Wheaton, but 20 years ago, a group of us went in front of Milton Township, the trustees, and pointed out to them that there were 3 pioneer cemeteries in Milton Township that were abandoned. And the township formed the Friends of Pioneer Cemeteries as a support group from the public, and they also formed the Cemeteries Authority. And they then looked at me and said, Bob, you're chairman of the Cemeteries Authority. So for 20 years, I've been restoring 3 cemeteries. My favorite is St. Stephen. And I'm not Catholic. I report to Chris Hydon, the supervisor of Milton Township, and I report to Mike Hackowitz in the Joliet Diocese. And I have spent 20 years going back and forth to St. Stephen Cemetery. Now, we all have to work for a living. My living is making tin cans. I've been doing it for 70 years. And my vocation during this entire period of time has been history. And it has kept me going. And I've practiced the art of history across the world. So I think I know when I see something that's good to say it's good. I feel the St. Stephen district surrounding St. Stephen is in the top 5 historic areas in DuPage County. In fact, I would debate anyone that is probably number 1. And I've tried to, over the last day or 2, put together information for you to read, and I won't go through that all tonight. But after spending 20 years and probably 2,000 hours, I think I know that district. We've restored that cemetery. We found a well there, and I watched the young people come and look at that well. We're right on the Great Western Trail, and we have boxes of history information there, and the people all stop there. We've had no vandalism except 1 call in 20 years. We've put in 110 new tombstones, and everybody's name is detailed and where they come from on that tombstone. Adjoining it is a prairie, an original prairie. I've burnt that prairie for 20 years straight, and last year it was standing 7 feet tall. To see the young kids, to see the parents, and to see the people come there and look at that prairie, and it can be expanded. Quickly, adjoining that prairie is a pond, a beautiful pond. I believe DuPage County is responsible for that pond, but I'm not sure just from asking questions, but it's a mess. If that pond were preserved and cleaned up a little bit adjoining that prairie, we would really have something. And then you look at Daniel Kelly. Daniel Kelly had 1,100 acres, and he had 1,100 sheep. And what were the sheep? They were merino sheep. They were the first merino sheep into Illinois. Those sheep have been sold all through Illinois, all through DuPage County, and when you track Daniel Kelly, you see him all over the place. But what was his mistake? I apologize, I'm from Wheaton. Everybody knows Wheaton from a historical standpoint. No one knows Daniel Kelly. And why do they know Wheaton? Because Wheaton gave the land free to the railroad. Kelly wanted money, but he didn't give up. In 1892, he got the Great Western. He founded the Baptist Church in Wheaton. He founded the Illinois Wool Association. And I can go on. And when you look at all that property back there, and I've walked it, and you see all that empty land that backs behind the commercial properties on North Avenue, those will never be developed, in my judgment. I think we should sit down and talk to these people and see what we can do and build a district. And I'll tell you what I call the district. I call it the Kellyville, Gretna, Carroll Stream Historic District. The Kellyville, Gretna, Carroll Stream Historic District. And what do we have there? No place in DuPage County when you list all these things. We also have Daniel Kelly's house there. He built that house during the Civil War. He provided wool to the Northern Army during the Civil War. So here's my proposal. My proposal is you fellas form a group. I would like to host a lunch, and in Carroll Stream, the group takes a tour of the area. We walk around, take a look at it, we have lunch, and talk about what I like to say, because I worked about 4 years in Korea, drops of water carve a stone. That's what they teach the kids in Korea. Drops of water carve a stone. And that's what I did on St. Stephen. 20 years, it's all finished. It's all been preserved. It's all restored. It's a beautiful site. The diocese is very proud of it now. So I hope you take me up on my proposal. I'm happy to be here. Keep up the good work. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have a question at all about, now we talked about St. Stephen, that is behind Caputo's.
Right.
And Daniel Kelly House is still there. That is a business, what it is called, is it Snow Plus, I think? And that Kelly, that home is still there and operated as a business off of Main Place. Does anyone have a comment?
You said there's 100 and how many tombstones there?
Beg pardon?
How many people are buried there? How many people are buried?
Oh, I'm sorry, about 140.
About 140.
And the Archdiocese provided the money for 100 new tombstones?
I raised the money privately, not from the diocese. One of the major contributors is the St. Michael Cemetery Association, because St. Michael is the sister church. St. Michael in Wheaton is the sister church of St. Stephen. In other words, when they shut down St. Stephen, they opened St. Michael. So I convinced Mayor Gresk is the chairman of the Wheaton, of the St. Michael Cemetery Association. Quite frankly, he said to me, he said, "Jake, we see you working up there all the time. I was raising nickels and dimes and buying a tombstone." He says, "We want to help you and finish this project." And what we did, I went to the diocese and said, "I'll commit to 100 tombstones. Let's bid them out. Over 5 years, we'll put them in." And so they got a very good price, and volunteers installed all of those tombstones. So,
They do events there every year. When is the event this summer?
yeah, I put it in the folder there for you to come to it. It's in September. For 5 or 6 years now, I have an event there. We have about 200, 250 people
Really?
come to it, and they walk around and they watch the progress, and of course the progress is good. I want to just say one more thing. I don't know how many of you are golfers, but think of Scotland, and you think about the founding of golf in Scotland. Sheep cut the grass. In doing the research on merino sheep and on Mr. Kelly, I found that Mr. Kelly was selling sheep in DuPage County. I proved that he was selling them to Haddam Smith in Belmont, which is now part of the Downers Grove. And on that golf course, Chicago Golf created the first 18-hole golf course. And you can do that because sheep don't kill the grass. And so you can really lay out a golf course overnight. And I just brought this with me. This is at the printer right now. If you can see this, 2 weeks from now at Arrowhead Golf Course, there's going to be a reception and an exhibit of historical golf equipment shown. Off the record, I put that exhibit together. If you see what it says, Wheaton, golf history starts here. But here's the key in the catalog, which is right at the printer now. It talks about merino sheep making it possible. I'm glad you laughed. That's my punchline. So it's all over the place. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.